In just a moment, X-1, but first, here's an important date to remember. It's this Sunday when the highly acclaimed program On the Line with Bob Considine premieres on NBC Radio. Behind each news event is a human interest story, and beginning Sunday, you can hear these fascinating sidelights with commentator Bob Considine. You'll also meet the important people who make the headlines, people from the government, labor, and management, or perhaps someone in your own hometown today. The latest news becomes more meaningful when you understand the human interest. So make a day to hear On the Line with Bob Considine. Now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC.
Countdown for blast-off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus one.
Tonight, The Old Die Rich by H.L. Gold.
The uniformed cop at the door told me to get lost. But Lou Pape spotted me and told the man to let me in. It was a shabby room. They always are. There was a woman on the bed, an old woman with white hair, thin enough to show the tight-drawn scalp. The medical examiner was going over her as if she were a side of beef that you had to put a federal-grade stamp on.
When are you going to stop taking this ham friend of yours around to these cases, Sergeant, just to gratify his morbid curiosity?
Forget about Weldon, Doc. What did she die of?
Not eating, malnutrition.
Oh, now look, Doc, in the top bureau drawer, she had bank books showing $32,000 from 5 different banks. Now, she had the price of a meal.
Malnutrition induced by senile psychosis, digging into their savings.
I don't know, Doc. It doesn't feel right to me.
Listen, Weldon, just because you get up on a stage or on some half-baked television show and make believe you're 70 years old doesn't qualify you as an expert on gerontology.
Maybe not, Doc. But I went bald at 25, and I've been playing old men ever since. There's a lot more to it than just shuffling around and talking in a high-cracked voice.
Yeah, there hasn't been an actor since Otis Skinner.
Maybe. But the way I work, I have to get inside the character. I have to decide when he was born, how he got along with his father, where he went to school, what he thinks of women, everything about a character.
There isn't a one of them these days can make themselves heard past the 5th row.
Look, I'm serious. Now, I've tried imagining myself growing weak from hunger. I've tried to think of not even spending a nickel to keep me from dying. I just don't believe it. It isn't right. I don't feel it.
Well, lucky for me, I don't have to feel these things inside of me because I'm a doctor and not an actor. Sergeant, malnutrition induced by senile psychosis. I'll order the wicker basket from Bellevue. So long, Barrymore.
Well, he's right, Mark. We get a couple of these cases every year. Some old bat starving to death with $17,000 in old bills pinned on his union suit. Turns up all the time.
Well, it doesn't feel right.
Well, he knows his business.
But he doesn't know old people. I do. It isn't easy to starve to death. Not when you can buy day-old bread at the bakery or wilted vegetables the grocer's ready to throw out. Anyone who's willing to eat that stuff can stay alive from day to day. Hunger's it's a pretty potent instinct.
Maybe they get too sick to go out after old bread or wilted vegetables.
It takes weeks to die of starvation. Did you ever try starving for weeks, Lou?
No, did you?
Well, the point is somebody would find out, a janitor, a landlord, somebody, and they'd get him to a hospital.
Forget about it, Mark. Can't argue with it. Here there were 5 bank books, $32,000.
Yeah, she took good care of them. They look almost new.
Sure she did. Most important thing in the world, huh?
April 23rd, 1907, $150. The ink's pretty dark. Shouldn't it be faded?
She probably never took it out in the light.
Anyone ever think of testing the ink?
What for? Bank's records always check. These aren't forgeries, if that's what you're thinking.
Well, I'd like to get a chemist working on this ink.
Now, Mark. Look, this is strictly against regulations. I got to take these books down to the squad room and sign them in.
Pretty dark ink for 1907.
Well, it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I guess I could hold them over tonight and bring them down to the property clerk in the morning.
Good. I know where I can find a chemist.
Mr. Weldon, there's no doubt of it. The ink sample is typical of inks used 50 years ago. 1907 would be about right.
There, you see, Weldon? I was supposed to go to the Trotters tonight.
But according to the amount of oxidation, it's fresh enough to be only a few months old.
There, I was right.
Well, couldn't that be the result of unusually careful handling, though?
Oh, yes, I suppose it could. An airtight compartment, perhaps, sealed with one of the inert gases or a vacuum. That might account for the lack of normal aging.
Lou, you can't keep inert gases in a top bureau drawer in a fourth-floor walk-up.
Yeah. Well, it's probably some simple explanation.
For fresh ink, half a century old. I've been going out on these cases for about a year. It's my specialty, playing old people, and when I'm not working television or something on Broadway, I go down to the homes for the aged or the parks or just watch. Lou Pape's an old friend of mine, and he put me on these malnutrition cases. But there was more to it than just picking up color and tricks of the trade. There had to be a better reason for it. You can't just starve to death with upwards of $30,000 right at your fingertips. Not without at least buying a bowl of soup. I had a run of television that kept me busy for about a month. Then Lou Pape called me up and asked me to come down to Bellevue.
I'll autopsy if you want it, Sergeant, but I can give you the cause of death right now. Malnutrition due to senile psychosis.
What's up, Lou?
Well, Mark, an old guy was found wandering around down on Hester Street. Suffering from malnutrition, he had $17,000 in cash inside the lining of his jacket.
Is he alive?
No, not now he isn't. Doc's got him in the room there, but he was stumbling around when the cop on the beat picked him up.
Did he say anything?
Well, he talked to the cop. Pretty smart young kid. Seems the old man kept talking about money, about his wife. She must have been dead 20 years. And then, just before he went out completely, he did say something, maybe 3 or 4 times.
Well, what was it?
El Greco.
You mean the artist?
Well, that's what Stankiewicz said. He's the officer who picked him up. He said he remembered he'd heard the name on that television quiz program. You know, the jockey who's the art expert there.
El Greco.
Probably some Greek restaurant where he was bumming his meals. Are you sure you want an autopsy, Sergeant? It's late. I won't get to it till tomorrow.
All right, take your time, Doc.
There's something else, isn't there, Lou?
Well, maybe, Mark. We found the old guy's room, and there was an ad thumbtacked over the sink. Nothing too unusual.
Yeah?
Here it is.
Men and women wanted, light work suitable for old people. No references required.
Well, I checked it with the lieutenant. He says to forget it. He says it figures for an old guy to be interested in an ad like that.
An old guy with $17,000 in cash?
Yeah. Well, I didn't figure I'd argue with the lieutenant.
You mind if I keep it?
No, go ahead.
It was an old brownstone house in the East 80s. I got in line with the rest of the applicants. My face was lined with collodion wrinkles, and I wore an antique shiny suit and run-down shoes. It was a good makeup job. I looked more authentic than the rest of the old-timers who were waiting for the interview. I finally came up to where a woman was asking the questions.
Name?
Kernet. Louis Kernet. Kernet.
Mm-hmm. Address?
Well, I don't exactly have a place. I've been staying with a fella down on 12th Street, a friend of mine. I met him in the cafeteria.
Previous occupation?
Well, I worked at a lot of things. Used to be a printer way back. I could handset...
Do you have any references?
Well...
Family?
No, ma'am. I haven't got any family. I had a cousin in Salt Lake City, but I haven't seen him in 30 years or more. The ad said you didn't need no references.
Well, that's right. Now, will you wait in the other room?
Yes, ma'am. Do I get the job, ma'am?
Just wait in the other room.
I shuffled into the other room and sat down to wait. I concentrated on building a character for Louis Kernet. If I was going to carry this through, I was going to have to play a better performance than I'd ever given before. In about half an hour, a young woman came into the room. I'd planned to be dozing the way an old man would, and so my eyes were closed when I heard the door close. When I opened them, I was looking into the barrel of a .38 revolver.
Are you awake now, Mr. Weldon?
Huh? Ma'am?
I don't think
what?
you need to carry on anymore. If you need any further convincing, you are Mark Weldon. You're about 40 years old, and you played this same character on television about 6 weeks ago. You played it fairly well.
Thank you. Would you mind putting down that gun?
Yes. Why did you apply for this position, Mr. Weldon? You're not old. Not really.
Well, as a matter of fact, it was a bet. I was having an argument about the method with an actor who trained at the Old Vic. I bet him that I could get by off the stage.
Yeah, well, don't bother. You've been very busy recently trying to find out why senile psychotics starve themselves to death.
How did you know that?
Well, I happen to know that you've been present at several police investigations into these cases, and you're a good friend of Sergeant Lou Pape.
Well, you know a great deal more about me than I do about you.
Well, I would be glad to enlighten you. My name is May Roberts. I'm the daughter of the late Dr. Anthony Roberts, the physicist, who was dismissed from the Brookhaven Atomic Energy Laboratory 5 years ago.
I assume you're connected with these starvation cases, or you wouldn't have known I was investigating them.
Well, that's obvious, isn't it? I'm not afraid of professional detectives, Mr. Weldon. They deal only with facts. But I don't like amateurs. They guess too much. They don't stick to reality. Consequently, they're likely to get too close to the truth.
Unfortunately, Miss Roberts, I'm nowhere near the truth. I haven't the slightest idea how you're tied in with those starvation
Well,
deaths.
I intend to show you, Mr. Weldon. I'm happy to announce that you have the job.
Now, look,
Don't move, Mr. Weldon. Oh, incidentally, about 15 minutes ago, I called Sergeant Pape and told him I was your sister just in from Pittsburgh. I wanted to get in touch with you very badly, and Sergeant Pape was very sorry. He wished he could help me, but he didn't have the slightest idea where you were. All right, Mr. Weldon. Right ahead of you, please. Through that door.
She didn't look like the kind of girl who would forget to hold the gun on me as I went down the hall. So that's all I did, just go down the hall. I climbed up to the 4th floor to a large room. There was a maze of electrical equipment bolted down, tubes and wires and dials. In the middle of the room was a wire mesh cage. She kept that gun on me, steady as a rock. She began to set readings on the dials and flip switches on the control panel.
It'll take about 5 minutes for the field to build up, Mr. Weldon. Please get in the cathode area.
You mean that wire cage?
Go ahead.
All right.
Now, I wouldn't advise moving now, Mr. Weldon. The wire carries some 10,000 volts.
Now, look, Miss
Mr.
Roberts.
Weldon, you're curious. It turned out to be a great nuisance to me. As long as you've come this far, we might as well both benefit by it.
Benefit?
You'll find a suit of clothes on the floor there. Put it on.
But after all...
Put it on.
I didn't know whether she was bluffing about the electric charge, but the revolver looked real enough, so I stripped and changed into the other clothes. The shoes were a little too tight and pointed. The collar of the shirt was too stiffly starched and too high under my chin. The suit was too narrow at the shoulders and at the ankles. I remember my father had a suit like that. The same shiny blue serge.
All right. In your pocket, you'll find a set of envelopes. And you'll find a set of instructions on each. Follow them carefully.
I don't get it.
You will. Use the envelopes in the order they're arranged.
What's this all about?
Mr. Weldon, I meant it when I said this could be a benefit to both of us. There's no use explaining anything. You'll find out. And don't try to escape. It can't be done. All right. Now the field generators are ready.
Look, Miss Roberts, this is absolutely...
Just follow instructions, Mr. Weldon. I
blinked. I was standing outside a bank on a sunny day in spring. I stared at the people passing by. They were dressed like the characters in a 1930 movie. The women wore long dresses and flower pot hats. The men had hard straw hats, suits with narrow shoulders. Cars were square with flat radiators in the front. There was a trolley car passing by, and suddenly I realized that the last trolley car stopped running in Manhattan years ago. I tried to figure it out. It was New York, all right. I recognized some of the buildings. First, I figured it must have been hypnosis. And then I looked at the first of the envelopes in my pocket. I read it and walked into the bank.
Yes, sir. Our Mr. Golden tells me that you wish to open an account.
Yes, that's right.
Uh-huh. Well, we're very happy to have a new depositor. Very happy indeed. Of course, you realize the institution is in sound condition, very sound. You needn't worry about all those rumors in this bank. No, sir. Solid.
Well, that's good.
All right, now then, name? Mark Weldon. You have no address in the city at present?
No.
And you're depositing $150?
That's right.
All righty. I'll just check the slip here. $150, right. And the date, May 15th, of course, 1931.
31? The Depression.
Oh, now, Mr. Weldon, this is a very good year for business. This temporary recession is bound to abate. Sound banking policies will see us through. It's just around the corner, you know.
What is?
Prosperity. All right, Mr. Weldon, we're very happy to have your account.
I went outside the bank, and I stood there in the spring sunlight and let the terror soak into me. The possibility of the entire situation was gnawing at the edges of my mind. And then suddenly I wasn't there. It was as fast as blinking. I was outside another bank in the same city. The date on the next envelope was May 29th, and it was still 1931. I made a $75 deposit there, and then $100 at another place a few days later, spending a few minutes each time and going ahead anywhere from a couple of days to almost a month. In 1934, I found myself inside a broker's office.
Very well, Mr. Weldon. As I understand it, you are buying this stock for a Dr. Anthony Roberts.
That's right.
I assume the stock will be in his name?
That's right. I'm just acting as agent. I follow instructions.
Of course. Well, are you sure I can't convince you that you're making a big mistake?
No. These are my instructions.
Well, now, Mr. Weldon, we are a reputable brokerage house, and, well, frankly, I feel quite shaky about putting our clients' money into this kind of security. There's no future in it. It's a rare metal for which there's very little use for industrial purposes, and... however, if your client is adamant...
I have my instructions.
Very well, then. In the name of Dr. Anthony Roberts, 100 shares of Montana uranium. Most unwise.
It went that way about 50-50. I'd deposit money in my own name in various banks at other times. Then I'd buy a stock or make a bet for May Roberts. On June 21st, 1932, I bet Jack Sharkey to take the heavyweight title away from Max Schmeling. There was Singing Wood in 1933 at Belmont Park and Max Bayer over Primo Carnera. I went on skipping through the years, touching here and there for a few minutes to an hour at a time. It was in early October 1938, about 5 hours after I'd left May Roberts' house, before I realized what she had me doing. It was making deposits and winning sure bets, just as those senile psychotics had done. The ink on their bank books seemed fresh because it was fresh. It wasn't given a chance to oxidize. At the rate I was going, I'd be back at my own time in a few hours with $15,000 compound interest in cash. But those old people had died of starvation somehow with all that cash in banks. I didn't know how it happened or why. But suddenly it occurred to me that I didn't want to be found dead in my hotel room. So rather than make the deposit in 1938, I grabbed a cab and told the driver to step on it. We got a mile away from the bank, and then the cab suddenly disappeared. I found myself in front of a counter at a lunchroom. The envelope instructed me to make a bet on the World Series. There wasn't any way to get out of the range of the machine. It picked me up at least 5 miles away from where I was supposed to be. Came back a week later to get my winnings. I was hungry, so I got myself a hamburger and went out the door. When I hit the sidewalk, it happened again.
Don't touch the cage yet, Mr. Weldon. I'll have to clear the charge.
Hey, what happened to my hamburger?
What?
The hamburger. I had it here. It's gone. I'm hungry.
I'll get you something to eat, Mr. Weldon, before your next trip. Well, you've done pretty well for yourself, haven't you?
Yes, I have. About 15,000. I had ketchup on my sleeve. It's gone.
Mr. Weldon, I want to talk seriously with you. Now you've seen part of what I'm doing.
Part?
My father was discharged from all his research and university connections because he insisted in publishing his findings on the temporal field research. All the conventional physicists explained that it was overwork and recommended everything from hot bouillon before retiring to psychoanalysis. Well, possibly both of these might have been beneficial. But the fact of the matter is that temporal field activities are quite true, and you've seen proof.
Well, I suppose I have.
So it seemed just a question of money, although obviously I can get all I need now.
But sending people back through time to bet on sure things like uranium...
It's a fair exchange. I pay well for service, don't I?
I suppose so.
But that isn't the most important thing. I've been able to save things that would have been lost otherwise. I've sent people back to find precious treasures that would have been destroyed or would have disappeared.
Like an El Greco painting?
Yes. And the original score of Mozart's Magic Flute that would have been burned in 1942, and a Picasso miniature that would have been lost at sea in 52. I have them all here.
Stolen?
No. Bought with money from the year itself at a fair price. Well, Mr. Weldon, I sent you back because I've needed someone to work with me on a regular basis. Someone who's faster and more alert than the old people I've hired till now.
Why old people?
It's a function of the field. You can't send somebody back to a year in which they didn't exist at all.
I'm hungry.
Please, Mr. Weldon, this is very important. My father died trying to prove the validity of his field theory to conventional scientists, and I don't intend to bother. We can become the most powerful people in the world.
I don't feel very powerful now. You haven't got a sandwich hanging around.
I want to make you an offer, Mr. Weldon. I need someone to help me expand the operation, plan the projects and research. I chose you because I was afraid that you might hit on the truth by yourself.
Can I come out of this cage
Be careful.
now?
Don't touch the contacts. The field reacts on a random factor for at least an hour after it's cut off.
I'll be careful. Tell me, Miss Roberts, why haven't you been able to go back to the time that your father was alive and bring him back before he died?
Dead tissue can't be transported. We've tried it with mice and rabbits from a laboratory in 1941, and they just disappear.
Like my hamburger.
Mr. Weldon, I assume that you're interested and that we can make our plans without using this revolver.
I hope so. $15,000 is a lot of money. Of course, you were able to send those old people back a lot further.
Some of them as far back as 1880.
How long would they be gone? I mean, in subjective time.
Several weeks. Perhaps a month or more.
There's only one problem, Miss Roberts.
Well, I'm sure we can work out any details.
Well, this one is a little hard to work out. You see, I'm hungry. I haven't been this hungry since I got lost on a hunting trip and went without food for 3 days. You see, you forget I've got an interest in this business because they found some old people dead of malnutrition and $30,000 or so tucked away in their pockets. They had been gone a month or more, and they had to eat during that time, didn't they? When they came back, the food disappeared like my hamburger. It disappeared all at once, all over their body. In one fast jolt, they starved to death.
No, you don't understand. They just couldn't take the field transition. They were too old, some of them, and they lied to me about their age to get the job.
Oh, no, you can't tell me that because I know how hungry I am. And I was only gone about 12 hours. They were murdered.
Get back.
You know, they say a hungry man gets mighty desperate. He'll do almost anything. Let go. Let go. Let go of it.
Oh! My arm.
Look out. Look out. The cage. The contact. She fell into that cage and disappeared before she hit the ground. I didn't know what happened. I know she said the field worked in a random factor, whatever that meant. I called Lou Pate, and he came to the house just after the fire started. Something went in the control panel, and it turned out to be a 4-alarm fire before they got it under control. There was nothing left of the machine. There wasn't much left of the brownstone house. Lou didn't believe the story I told him.
You mean there won't be any more of them? No more senile psychotics starving to death with a bankroll in their hip pocket?
No, I told you, Lou.
Come on now, Mark. We'll get plenty more. We always have.
No, I'll bet you won't. I'll bet you $1 there won't be another case like that.
I'll take that bet.
I lost the bet. There was one more case, and perhaps it was the strangest one. A woman was found wandering in Bryant Park just before she died of acute starvation. One strange thing was she was young, not more than 30. And the other was she had $17,000 stuffed in her pocketbook and a bullet wound in her arm. The medical examiner said was at least 2 months old. I guess that's what she meant by the random factor.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features This Way to the Regress by Damon Knight, the story of a man named Sullivan who, strangely enough, did not have a great future behind him, but rather a great past ahead. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. In a moment, tonight's cast and a preview of next week's exciting drama. Farmers know they can't stop storms, floods, or droughts from ruining a crop. But they can make sure things like that can't ruin them by investing in United States savings bonds. Not only farmers, but over 40 million Americans in all sorts of jobs own 40 billions of savings bonds. And why? Because savings bonds are the easy way to start saving and to keep saving. And the money you invest in savings bonds mean protection now and ready cash when you need it in the future. Improving the farm, sending the youngsters to college, or planning your own retirement. These are the big things you can be ready for with savings bonds. And besides offering you a safe investment, each Series E savings bond pays you back $4 at maturity for every $3 you invest. Yes, you earn extra dollars while you save, so start saving now. For the big things in your life, be ready with United States savings bonds. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Old Die Rich, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by H.L. Gold and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Jim Bowles, Jan Miner, Bill Zuckert, Guy Rep, Wendell Holmes, Ralph Camargo, and Ivor Francis. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Bob Maurer and is an NBC Radio Network production.
good morning, Elsinoreans, fellow weirdos, you bunch of freaks. Good morning. How are we? I'm doing just fine. I don't know about y'all, but I'm doing okay. I'm doing just fine. Hey, chicken? Yeah, still checking out that rabbit, huh? Oh, no, rabbit. Oh, no. Well, I thought I had something to say, but I really didn't. I should drink coffee. Okay. So anyway, it is Monday morning. It is the 11th day of the 11th month of the 24th year of this millennium, right? And after this election day, now I am reminded of a I'm gonna want to say a Beach Boys song. Now, is it really a Beach Boys song, or am I mistaken? Yeah, Beach Boys, 1960. Yeah, all I want to do, there you go. I don't want to watch it. I don't want the lyrics. You know, if I could have just figured out how this fucking phone would just tell me what it is. Anyway. Okay. That's just pissing me off now. I hate it when you can't get a phone to do what you want it to fucking do. Takes you in all these fucking circles just to, you know, you just want to punch in one fucking thing and go there, and it takes you in 80 fucking directions because it's smart. Yeah, if there's one thing to piss me off on this fucking planet right now, it's people and fucking phones, right? I would love it if I could just have a phone that just does phone stuff, right? Go lay down. Go on, go lay down. The dog doesn't like it when I use foul language. She freaks out. Apparently, she was traumatized by my father's foul language. Come on. Here, and there's my buddy. Okay, I switched to dogs here. Yeah, apparently Bessie was traumatized big time with foul language. It doesn't. I don't have to be. I can. Oh fuck! Even if I say it in a happy. Oh fucking A, she freaks the fuck out and leaves. Apparently that was a key word for my father. and his anger issues. The other dog, both dogs that came from him have that same issue. So I know it's an issue. And he had some kind of anger problem. Well, I know firsthand, believe me. I grew up with it. But that's not where I wanted to go this morning. I didn't want to sit here and discuss my father's anger issues on Veterans Day. Not that I give two shits about people who go fight fucking wars, right? Because usually it's a war for God and country and oil and money, and usually bullshit. So go fuck your wars. Anyway, what I was trying to get on this morning with being reminded of Beach Boys and Be True to Your School was that regardless of how we feel about the current administration, while I was growing up and all through history, it has been important for everyone to have their own vote. Look, I want this guy for president. Oh, I want this guy for president. Okay, that's fine. When voting is over, we have a new president, period. When we have a new president, regardless of how we feel about that president or the administration, we should get behind the son of a bitch, right? It is our job as American citizens to back our president, regardless of how we feel about the son of a bitch. Regardless of how we feel about how many idiots we think are up there, we still need to back the president. Why? Because that's the way democracy works. We don't get our vote, all right? Our vote didn't win, but we were allowed to vote. That's the whole thing, democracy. If it's, how's it supposed to work? If half of the country just says, well, fuck you, I ain't gonna do it then. Well, fuck, no, I'm not going, I'm not buying it. No, not my president. How many times have you heard that? Not my president. Bullshit, it's your fucking president. If you live in this country and you vote in a democratic system, it's your fucking president. Get behind your asshole president, okay? This is the system we have, okay? You don't like it? Change the, okay? Don't go, he's not my president. I'm not gonna fucking do what he tells me to do. I'm gonna leave the country. If there's something wrong with the country, fucking change it. If there's something wrong with the president, fucking change it. You know? Get in? I'm piss and fucking moan about how pissed off you are, but you didn't get your president, Well, that's going to be the case. Half the country's not going to get what they want. Period. So what? We should just stay divided, right? The part of the democracy that is supposed to pull us all together, and we're just going to let it tear us apart. Give me a fucking break, people. Once again, get your heads out of your asses. Well, I voted, and I'm pissed off about it because I didn't get the guy I voted for, and that's not my president. Give me a fucking break, douches. You're just as douchey as them, right? You're gonna sit here and whine and snivel and bitch and complain about how fucking shitty they are, and then what? You turn around and act shitty because you didn't get your way. I didn't get my way. Give me a fucking break. Grow the fuck up. It's a democratic system. Okay? You played the democratic fucking wheel. You spun it. You lost. Pick your shit up and fucking go. Continue on moving forward. I want anarchy. I don't trust anything anymore. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Please. Please. Give me a break. Once again, I'm reminded of that Beach Boys song, Be True to Your School. Right? Just like you would your girlfriend, man. You tell, it's the cornerstone of democracy is voting, right? And then you don't get your way, and then you're like, and you act like a fucking spoiled little fucking baby. What message does that send to your children? Yeah, we're voting because we're a democratic system. Come on, we're going to go vote and yada, yada, yada. And then you vote. And it's like, I gotta go that way. Fuck that president. Fuck him. Fuck everybody. Oh. You know, you either vote and you take that chance, or you don't vote and you don't take any fucking chance. But to sit and snivel and piss and moan and whine and cry and scream and throw a fucking tantrum because you didn't get your way. What did you expect? All right? We've got one side coming at it with however money they need, however much money they need. How much money we need? Yeah, we got that. We need more. We got that. We need more. We got that. Up against a party that's got nothing but, we need money, give us money. We need money, give us money. We're going to lose, give us money. The money's not the fucking issue. All right? It's not the fucking issue. You can have all the money in the world. If you are the best choice for president, you're going to be there. All right? Regardless of how much money you have. Okay? It's a democratic system. Yeah, but it's set up so that the rich guy wins. Period. There's supposed to be all kinds of stopgaps in place to keep people from having too much money to be able to get into all bullshit. It's exactly set up that way. All right? It's set up that way by rich people. The government is set up by rich people to take care of the rich people. Hello, we're the poor people. All right? If we want to be taken care of, we have to take care of ourselves, which means we need more of us in office. And instead, what do we get? We get douchebags. You get your douchebag in office, all right? You either get your douchebag in office or he gets his douchebag in office. One or the other, all right? You're going to get behind somebody and you're going to back them. Once they get into office, or they don't, you're still going to back whoever's in office. Why? Because that's the democratic system. And if you can't get a hold of that, well, then move to another fucking country. We don't want you here, right? If you can't get your head out of your ass, voting wasn't good enough, well, then get into politics and change it your fucking self, right? Don't just say, I ain't going to do it, ain't my president. Bullshit, it's your fucking president. If you voted for the other guy, this is your president. Period. Okay? You voted. Which means you played the game. You lost. Now suck it up, pull up your big boy fucking pants, and go about the fucking world, okay? This is it. You got your president. Suck it up and deal with it. Whether you like it or not, he's your president. Back your fucking president, or shut the fuck up and go away. All right? Quit sniveling. I don't like him. Quit with the stupid fucking memes. Quit up with the stupid... I mean, you know... It's bad enough that they're going to rub your noses in the fact that they won. What are you going to do? Sit there and snivel? Suck it up. Tighten your fucking pants and deal with it. You know? What are you going to fucking do? I didn't get my way, so I'm going to kill myself. That'll teach him. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to leave the country. That'll teach my country. I'm going to leave. Well, gee, thanks. You know, you might have been the one to put everything back together, but instead you're just going to go, you know, get your head out of your fucking ass, get out there and make a difference, okay? The reason that we're in the condition, in the boat that we're in, right, is because we don't do anything. We don't do a fucking thing but vote. That's it. Well, if you're not going to do anything but vote, then what are you left? You just left to vote. Which means you vote on whatever the fuck they want you to vote on. Right? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the fucking problem. If you're not going to get out there and actually physically do, I'm going to pray and I'm going to light a candle and we're going to hold hands, that ain't going to get a fucking thing done. Get out there. And we're going to march in the streets and we're going to hold signs, that ain't going to do a fucking thing. Get out there and fucking do something real. Fuck, people. They want you to march. They want you to sign up on these fucking... I'm a part of this group that really, really is against this. They want you on a fucking list. Don't be so fucking naive. Get out there and fucking do something. My government's going to take care of me. Only if you are a part of it. If you allow the government to take care of you. Who's really taking care of you, right? Get out there. Do something. Make a fucking change. Be a force for change. Don't just scream and meme, right? Fuck. Scream and meme, man. That's all people do anymore. It's like, I'm going to do something to change the world. Tick, 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 tick. Look, I posted a meme. I changed the world. Bullshit. Bullshit. I just, you know. What a time to be living in. We're right on the cusp of a huge fucking change right now. And it's going to be because half of the country is pretty much pissed off at the other half of the country, right? So it doesn't matter who won the presidential race, right? The fact is, we all lost, all right? We all lost. Because we let the whole thing divide us. It's supposed to bring us together, and what did it do? It divided us right down the fucking middle. So we lost. If you can't say, oh, well, I didn't get the president that I wanted, let's at least give this president the benefit of the doubt, back this president, do whatever we can to help this president. You know, don't scream at this president, I hate you, you fucking idiot, you fucking rich bastard, fuck you. You know, why don't you, hey, Mr. President, how about if we try this? Could we try this, Mr. President, right? Hey, fuck you, you fucking Donald dickhead. You know, give me a fucking break, you know. It's that whole lack of respect in this country that is bringing this country down. And it is a lack of respect that has been brought about by the last few generations have just... They've lost respect for themselves. They've lost respect for their elders, their country, right? Their government. And they show it. They show no respect at all. None. They want respect, but they refuse to give it out. You know, we've got entitled Karens, spoiled little brats, you know. It's a wonder that after it didn't go many people's way, the election, it's a wonder we didn't see people out running through the streets, screaming and being violent, because that's what you would expect. People didn't get their way. What do? They freak the fuck out and they get violent, because it's a lot easier than using your fucking head, I guess, you know. Yeah, violence begins where logic fails, and logic has failed most humans. They fail to use their brains. They fail to see things for themselves. They have to be told what to see. You've got a blind man who sees more because nobody's telling him what to fucking see, right? He's figuring it out for himself. And he doesn't have to see the bullshit that we see. This is a metaphor, okay? I'm not talking about fucking blind people. Don't freak the fuck out on me. What are you talking about blind people more, man? Yeah. Don't fucking wig out on me, people. All right? Yeah. That's what happens when you play the fucking game. All right? When you start believing the bullshit that they spread to get somebody into office, that's when you're fucked. All right? You're not supposed to believe the bullshit, because everything that they say to get themselves into office is bullshit. Period. Period. It's bullshit. We have a couple of 100 years of bullshit history. We've got a record of bullshit in this country, right? Just this last 30 years, this country has seen so much bullshit come and go at its own hand, you know. Its own hand has created this bullshit. You know, the war on drugs, Iran-Contra, Desert Storm. Oh, yeah, Desert Storm, baby. You know, Twin Towers 1 and 2. Of course, the sequel was way better than the first. Bunch of uneducated motherfuckers. That's pretty much what it is. Comes down to uneducated, unthinking, illogical, irrational followers, sheeple. It doesn't matter how wrong it is, right? It doesn't matter how obnoxious it sounds. If they say we're going to do it, they're going to do it. And it don't matter what we fucking say. Why? Because we're sheeple. We're easily manipulated. All they have to do is start spouting shit in the media, and everybody's like, hey man, did you hear about that? Then it literally grapevine spreads the bullshit around, you know, like butter on toast, man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Get out and fucking do something. Don't sit and fucking whine and complain and post memes. Get out and fucking do something. You want change? Go out and physically make a change. Don't expect these assholes to fucking do it for you because they're in it for themselves. It don't matter who. Your party, my party, their party, every party is in it for themselves. They're in it for the party. They're in it to make money. All right? Don't be fooled for an instant that the government is there for us. It's not. It's there for itself. You know, you look into the policies, war. If this country were to be attacked, they wouldn't give a shit about the citizens. We're on our own. They're going to pack their shit up and they're going to go hide somewhere and wait till it's all over because the government takes care of themselves. Sure, they're going to take a bunch of the average citizens they're going to take are going to be Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. Those are the citizens they're going to take. They're not going to take average working Joes, average guys who pay their fucking salary. No, because it doesn't matter. We don't matter. The government is what matters. The government is the most important thing in government. Without the government, we wouldn't have government. So they have to save the government first. It's policy. It's policy to look out for the government first, and then everything else before the people. We are nothing. We are the reason they're there, but it don't matter because they're there. So now they are the reason they're there. Good morning, Joey. What's going on, dude? I'm just sitting, thinking, smoking and drinking. Got my shirt for Los Tigres del Norte, Los Jefes de los Jefes. It's a great shirt. I had to get the concert shirt with the dates on the back because, you know, I love concert shirts. I think I've got like one more show to upload. One or two more shows to upload here for the week. Let me just check it here because I gotta check my stuff here. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. Yeah, I think I've got one more to upload. Let me just check it out, baby. Oh yeah, baby. Oh my God, yeah. Let me see, 170 down. I'm down one. I lost a subscriber. somebody was like, "This guy's too fucking weird. I am so out of here. Why did I bother subscribing to this piece of shit? My God. Holy hell." Let's see. Videos manage. Let me check my video list here. See if I've got my 10th episode of what you call it here, Dimension X, episode 10. There it is. So now I have one more to upload. Damn it. One more to upload. Let me X this guy off the list here. Alright, I have one more upload, and then I'm all ready for this week. I've already done my weekly programming guide because I knew these were going to be accepted. Yeah, some great movies. We're getting closer to Thanksgiving, which means we're getting closer to a full week of Native American studies, I guess. We're going to look at Navajo and Kuna, I think. We're going to look at Sioux and Iroquois and Cherokee, and we're going to try to observe as much as we can about Native American culture during Thanksgiving week, as much as we can, as much as I can dig up. It can be hard to come up with content, but so far I've got a couple of dozen that I'm going to try to squeeze in, as many as will be accepted. Some of these don't get accepted because they have images or audio or video or something that are copywritten, and sometimes it's the entire movie. There was one that I tried to upload yesterday, a trip through a Hollywood studio, and the entire thing was copywritten, from beginning to end, as itself, not as something that somebody else did. So it's either been uploaded before, or those newsreel type things, some of them have copyright still hanging on them. But I've got a lot. Yeah, like I said, the Kuna Indians, the Spanish explorers, not so much the Spanish explorers, but the early Mexican Americans, before they were booted out of the country during the time of Manifest Destiny, right? Where we're going to go across the country, and anybody who doesn't let us whiteys do what we want, they're going against God, and we got to kill them. Because God wants us to go take over the country, and God says that we're the toughest and the strongest and the smartest, and we know how to use people and get wealth out of stuff, right? They don't know how much money they got. They're savages. They're idiots. They don't know how rich they could be. So we're going to take it from them, so they'll never know how rich they were or how rich they could have been. Don't worry. Later on, we'll let them gamble with lots of wampum, right? Fucking bastards. So I'm going to see if I can dig up some traditional Thanksgiving crap. You know, Pilgrims, Plymouth Rock, John Smith, Pocahontas, that kind of crap. So I'm going to be digging up whatever I can about that. Maybe I can find an In Search of Thanksgiving, In Search of Pilgrims or something. I don't know. I'm going to do what I can to come up with as much Native American / Thanksgiving stuff as possible. Yeah, you know, of course, when you're growing up, you trace your hand on a piece of paper, and then you turn these into feathers, and you turn this into a turkey head, and you got your little gobble gobble. White kids were running around with feathers in their hair and wearing construction paper stovepipe hats and stuff. You know, that's That's pretty much the basic Thanksgiving that someone of my age grew up understanding. The Thanksgiving episode of Brady Bunch where one of the kids is making a movie or something about the Pilgrims, right? And that whole story for decades was the bought story. That was what they sold us, and that's what we bought. It's like, okay, gosh, that's great, man. The Native Americans just loved us, right? We just loved the Native Americans. We were all buddies. We got along. I mean, how can you look back at the last couple of 100 years and try to put that face on the origin? I mean, come on. From the beginning, it was death and rape and murder and destruction and it was just horrible every step of the fucking way. Well, for one side at least. I mean, for the whites, you know, the non-Indians, it was just a game. It was just a fucking game, you know. Sorry, I've been reading a lot of the Lakota woman and a lot about Wounded Knee and Native American stuff. So we're getting close to Thanksgiving, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Yeah, and all that. I keep looking back on all that shit that I grew up learning about Native American culture and history and the founding of the country and pilgrims and all that. And you look back and you just think, my God, what a crock of shit that was. How did they sell us on that bullshit, right? Come on. Are you kidding me? We bought that bullshit? Of course we did. Of course we did. Meanwhile, you know, people on the Navajo Indian Reservation on Thanksgiving, let's see, it's the end of the month, so food supplies are running low. If the Native Americans out on an Indian reservation want to eat decent, they're going to go out and shoot something, but they live in an area on a reservation where wildlife is pretty much down to nothing. So the best they can hope for is what, a squirrel or a fucking rabbit or something, right? Even out on the Navajo Indian Reservation, where it's pretty much spread out over hundreds of miles, right? And I'm thinking of the Four Corners Reservation, which is pretty big, but still, it's got to be hunted the fuck out, right? You know, no water. No electricity, you know. Well, they're damn natives. They don't want any of that shit. They want to live like let's live on their fucking reservation like natives if that's what they want. If they want anything good, then come to the fucking city and get it. I mean, that's pretty much the way it is, you know. It fucking sucks. You know, it sucks. I've been to reservations before, here in California, in Arizona, trying to sneeze. All right, it just didn't work. It didn't pan. The sneeze didn't pan out. Indian reservations in Nebraska, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming. And, you know, it's more ghetto than the ghetto. It is. You know, I mean, the houses, the non-governmental houses, right? Even the ones that the government built 50 fucking years ago, they're pieces of shit, right? By now, they're pieces of shit. The tribal councils work directly with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the BIA, right? And can just decide who they want the money to go to, right? A lot of the half-whites on the reservation on reservations are in charge because they're closer understanding what it is the white people want, whereas the full-bloodeds really pretty much want to live like Native Americans with some of the amenities of you know, that everybody else has. They don't want the bullshit. That's what Native Americans want. They don't want the bullshit. And it's real easy to be shit on. It's real easy to be taken advantage of. It's real easy for a bunch of money to be given over to the reservation, and then for a handful of people to decide what to do with it. And then it just goes into, pockets. It gets pocketed. And then most of the people on the Indian reservation don't get helped out. They just lose. They have to live in a shack. They have to live in this, piece of shit, falling apart house. So they leave the reservation. They go out. They try to get along in the world, And at this point, it's pretty easy to get out there and get along in the world. Once you leave the reservation and you get away from the places that don't like those local reservations, you get to where people are like, hey, you're just regular. You're just like me, we're just like everybody else, There's no difference between me and a full-blooded Native American when we're out in the world. When we're at the reservation, there is. When we're in the town next to the reservation, yeah, there's definitely a big difference. If I'm seen walking with a Native American, then, hey, you damn redskin lover, I could get beat up just for hanging out with a Native American in one of those little shitty towns, that hates its local reservation, right? All over in Southern California, there's not so much of that anymore. There used to be back in the 70s. You used to not be able to drive. I remember not being able to drive out on certain roads because they drove through reservations, and you did not want to be out there in the middle of the night. You didn't want to break down or stop on a road in one of those reservations back in the 70s or 80s. Now it's like you can go buy and go rent an Airbnb on an Indian reservation, right, in Southern California. I would imagine it's like it's nothing now. And then there's casinos, which pretty much have normalized Native Americans. I run into Native Americans all the time out here, especially in 29, and I'm like, where the hell is there? First of all, I know there's a reservation because the casino is on it, but if you look at the map, there's no other reservation around except for where the casino is. So did they petition to get that property so they could build their casino, right? We don't have a reservation. Give us a reservation and give us the right to build a casino. I'm going to have to look into that to see where this little Tortoise Rock casino popped up and how and why it is where it is and what is the reservation and what's the deal. Because there are a large amount of Native Americans out here. In fact, they come from Arizona to go to school out here at Copper Mountain College because we're trying to bring them in. A couple of years ago, we went to a little free concert out at the college here. And it was Ed Caboti and the Yodis. Native American music, right out of Arizona there. Havasupai Nation. Yeah, really great guy. I had a chance to talk with him. I'd love it if he'd come out again. At some point, I'm going to be hitting up some of these really, really cool people that I've had a chance to come in contact with. I'm going to be hitting them up to come out and kind of share what it is that's going on in their lives with the rest of us. I dare the next administration. I dare the current administration, and I dare the next administration to discuss with the Native Americans of this country the 3,700 and some odd treaties that have been written and broken. Not one treaty has been honored. I think it would be really good if if the current and or the next administration were to examine everything, every treaty that has been written over the last few hundred years, and not one has been honored, I think it would be best if they were to look at all of them and try to figure out how to best make amends for this atrocity, right? It wouldn't take much to go and look at the last few treaties and see why they were broken, why we could not follow through with all of these things, right? And I'll bet you it all comes down to money, because it would cost money, or it would take money away from us, or it would take away from future revenue, right? We can't give the Native American people back a bunch of land that they could conceivably use to make money, right? Because then they would have more money than us, right? They've got fucking casinos now. Money's not the fucking issue, right? It's all about natural resources. We can't give Native Americans, we can't give them savages, all that natural resources, because we go right back to manifest destiny, right? God says that we're supposed to be the ones in charge of it, and those savages, they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to profit off of the land like we do, so therefore they can't be responsible for it. That's pretty much what it comes down to, pretty much. And I think we should go back and take a look at that whole idea of policies toward Native American people. Yep. Because how the government has looked at the Native American people is exactly the fault of the government. That's the bummer. That's the wrong thing. Because they have looked at the Native American people as anything other than people, just like us, that's where they're at fault. They keep putting names and characteristics and all these other bullshit propaganda names, and it's just, once again, it's just to make us feel superior and them inferior. And come on, that was horrible back in the 70s, and even back in the 1800s, it was horrible. And now they're still marginalized, They're still, even their own bureaucracies designed to fund and take care of the reservations are still only taking care of a handful in some reservations, where not everyone benefits from, the white father, the U.S. government, Uncle Scam. Yeah, it hurts to think about what the Native American people have gone through in this country since Plymouth fucking Rock, right? If you want to go there, if you want to use that terminology. They have gotten the shitty end of the stick, Even worse than slavery. I'm going to say it. Worse than slavery. I mean, really. They weren't even good enough to use as slaves, right? They were marginalized and looked at as just animals, right? At some point, if you were black, at least you were half human, right? If you were a redskin, you were just a savage that could be shot down like a dog or a rabbit, right? The bars, right? The streets, which, the blacks weren't allowed to walk on the sidewalks, but they were able to walk through towns and into bars and places and get stuff for the masses, right? That's horrible. But Native Americans, right? There'd be signs like no dogs or Indians allowed. Because even in that terminology, the dogs, they still weren't allowed. But the dogs were better than the Indians, right? Ah, jeez. Seem to be having some kind of technical difficulties this morning. Right? Anyways, I'm getting a little bit glitchy. Ah, son of a glitch. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, you know? I'm just looking back and forth a couple of times really quick so that when I look at my monitor I can see when that looking. There it is. Oh, there's one. No, not yet. Okay, and no, I'm still talking. There it is. There's my quick head movement there. Ah, yeah, baby. Anyway, it appears as though I'm having a slight bit of technical difficulties here this morning. My speed just keeps alternating from okay to not okay. I think it just needs more coffee. Can I just pour some coffee in there? I don't know why I got Native American studies. Why? Because of Thanksgiving. That's why I'm ranting and raving. You know what I'd like to do is I'd like to find out some of the names of some of those garage bands back in the day and do some t-shirts like that, right? Now that would be cool. Do some, like, we used to make these flyers, these really cool handmade, hand-drawn flyers for parties, right? In fact, I think I have one. Somewhere. Gosh, do I? Man. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know where the hell it would be, right? It's going to be in some kind of file somewhere. Elsinore Brothers, audio, video, original content. No, that's not it. E1 Media. Oh my God, no way. Who is that? That's me. I'm so young. Yeah. So I was going to look for a photograph of a flyer from back in the day. And I am not seeing it in this file. And I don't think I want to dig through a bunch of files to look for this stuff. Let me see if I can find one more file that might have it. Let's try here. That is a lot of Facebook crap. Did I find it on Facebook? I think I did, but I think it was put in another place. Family stuff. Nope. Ooh, historic Lake Elsinore and surrounding areas, and that is not in there. Lake Elsinore today, it's not in there either. Miscellaneous crap, it ain't there. But what I do see are some photos of classes from back in the day. Okay, let's see. I'll give this one more shot here. Stuff, 1980s. Nope. Weird and cool stuff, and it's not in there. Okay, scanned family photos. Let's see if we've got a miscellaneous 1980s. Okay, and it's not in there. High school, miscellaneous, Los Arena. Hi, Kamala. Yeah. So I'm going to have to look through, picture day. I am going to have to look through my files here and see if I can come up with that flyer from back in the day. But back in the day, I was a Cub Scout. Check that kid out. Yeah, I had no badges. I had nothing that came from, that whole setup came from a thrift shop or the Army-Navy store, one of the two. I think it was the Army-Navy surplus store. And I don't remember why. My brother was a Cub Scout Webelow, and I think I was in the Cub. He was a Boy Scout Webelow. I was a Cub Scout because if they had to get rid of one of us, they had to get rid of all of us for the day, right? And I think this was just a way to get rid of us, so they had time to go do shit without us. Because I frickin' hated Cub Scouts. Nobody liked me. Period. You could tell the den mother tolerated me, but I was not like the other boys, so I was just tolerated. Oh, that's so good for a boy like you, right? You know, my shirts were always dirty, and nothing was ever pressed, and I didn't know how to do any of the stuff they wanted us to do, and my dad wasn't about to go out and help me do stuff. My brother was into Webelos, and it was probably his responsibility to help, but he wasn't going to go out and help me get a merit badge or something. I mean, it was like, why did we even bother with this? If we're not going to follow through and do everything that's required, why? You know? And I never wanted it, and now I'm there, and nobody's going to help me. It's like, well, fuck this. I think I did that literally a couple of weeks, and was just like, I'm not going to that shit anymore. No. It was like when I was on a baseball team. I didn't like baseball. I didn't play baseball. There was nothing about baseball that I enjoyed. Nothing. Nope. And this is in Watts. This is when I was in Watts Elementary. Manchester Avenue Elementary School. K through 6. Yeah. I was pretty young. I think this is like first grade or something. Or maybe before that. This might be before that. I don't know. I always had long hair. Mainly because I didn't like haircuts. It's amazing that my hair looks so good right there. Right? That's amazing. My hair never looked that good. I always had it parted to the side to cover up that damn mole above my right eye. Right? I hated that fucking mole. Yep. There, you can see the mole here. Right over my right eye. I'll leave you with that while I go heat up my coffee. Yeah, this photo is probably about the time that we first started, around the time that we first, well, not this photo. This is Temecula. This here is Temecula 1980, I'm going to say, 79, 80. I had that black denim shirt. It was a pullover black denim shirt. Thrift shop. It had half sleeves, so they went up just about to my elbows, just below my elbows. And it had that big collar and that wide V-neck on it. I loved that shirt. Of course, I got fat and grew out of it real quick. And I don't know whatever happened to it. I don't bloody know. I don't know. Yeah. But this one here, this photo, this would be about the time we started going to the Indian reservation. So imagine me on an Indian reservation, right? Or me looking like this, being introduced by my father, who looks half Native American, right, at least. And him saying, "Oh, this is my son." And them going, "Yeah, right. Uh-huh. How long were you in Vietnam? And when was this kid born?" "Yeah, because he looks a lot like you." No, I don't look like anybody in the family, really. I look a lot like my mother and my grandfather, but I don't look like my father or my brother or my sister. My sister a little bit, but not so much, you know. I think mostly what I have that the likenesses that we share is mostly not inherited, but environmental. You know. Oh yeah. So let's see. Oh, I got to work today. We got a few houses to clean. So yeah, I'll be getting done with the morning show and be getting ready to leave. Get done here at 8, be dressed and fed by 9, and then get my load on, and then about 10, I think the missus will probably take off ahead of me and start scouting to see which house is empty early. And then I'll shoot over in the van, and join her. Yeah, that kid there. Now, this is my favorite photo of me in junior high. 8th grade. This is this is the summer after I had. This is after the summer in which I started my summer early by ditching the last 6 weeks of 7th grade. I just stopped going. And you could see the difference in my eyes, in my face, in my physical demeanor, right? You can totally see the difference in this photo here compared to the previous year's photo. Where it's just I'm a different person at this point. I'm done taking shit. I finally figured out that I could just decide to say no and get up and walk away and not deal with bullshit. And that's who this guy was. In fact, it was only a few months later when I got into the 9th grade where I actually, a few months into the 9th grade, just walked out of my house one day and just said, fuck it. With nothing. I took nothing with me. I just got up and walked out with the clothes on my back. I got into an argument with my mother, and that did it, you know. And that did it. I saw right then, after countless times before, I finally saw that this being at that house was going to get me into more trouble than if I were out on my own, right? Had I stayed, I probably would have been arrested. If I had stayed in that household at that period in my life, I probably would have been arrested. I probably would have sent my mother and or father to the hospital for various reasons. But that's kind of where I was at that point. They were constantly on me, but not helping at all. They were doing nothing in my life to help. They were like, everything negative in my life was happening at home. And it was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna kill myself, or I'm gonna kill one of you. I said to myself, get up and leave. Go. And I did. I screamed at my mother to her face and just turned around and walked out. You know? And this all happened because a dog got out while she was sleeping, and she had to get up and chase a dog down the street in her nightgown, yelling at the dog to come back. You know, if the dog don't want to come back, maybe there's something wrong with you, lady, right? I tell my dogs to stop, come here, and they stop and turn around and come back. Because I never spank them when they do. They know that if they turn around and come back, they're going to get lots of love. Why do you think I never turned around and came back, huh? Yeah, it wasn't until pretty much after she left the house that I came back permanently. I came back time and time again to stay in the house. But as I got older, it was less and less, fewer and far between. Until finally I said, I can't take this shit anymore. And then eventually I came back when it was just my father living in the bus. But even then, I could tell he didn't want me around. You know? As always, he had just been tolerating my presence, right? Just tolerating me out of some, sense of responsibility to, I don't know what, But he certainly didn't have any responsibility to me. It was to himself and how he made himself feel in dealing with me, right? He didn't want to treat me badly because then that would make him feel bad. He didn't, when he mistreated me, he just mistreated me because whether, it wasn't physically, on occasion it was, but usually it was just mentally and emotionally, right? And he did that for himself, right? Because he was the one having anger issues, right? But when he didn't have anything to deal with me, that was his too, I would go out of my way to try to get him involved in my life. And he didn't have anything to fucking do with it. Hey, I want to go to a better school. I'm going to go to night school and graduate high school so that I can go to college. Well, good for you. Will you help me? No. Will you help me financially get it? No. Will you help me with no. Will you help me in any way? No. How come it is that you went to college and university and your family was like, yeah, Dad, Dad, we'll help you with whatever. And then when I wanted to go, you were like, right? Now I'll send my new wife to school instead, and my kids, fuck them. I was the one kid in the family who wanted to go to school. I got accepted to a college, a school of the arts, even as a slightly older kid, I still got accepted. And didn't want to have anything to do with it. You know, he's like, you're on your own. And I was. And I realized that after I got married, that I was on my own, and my family was my wife and me. That was my family. All the decades before with these other people that I'd been spending my time with, they weren't really my family. Because if they were my family, they would be around when I needed them, right? And yeah. And I kept popping up saying, hey, family, you know. I went in on a piece of property with my father for family, so we could have a family piece of property, a family home, you know. And that's the last thing that he wanted. It was like, how dare I, you know, want to pull the family together and have a family home and do family stuff. And it was like, I feel like I should just shoot myself rather than try to do something like that. I felt like, well, I felt alone. I was the only one who wanted family. And it wasn't that nobody else wanted family, it's that they didn't want me in the family. And that's what I finally woke up and saw. So that when I finally had a falling out with my father, and then my brother, and then my sister, and had a falling out with everybody, you know. And nobody really gave a shit that I was married or had a daughter or had lost a daughter. Nobody gave a shit, you know. Because had they given a shit, I would have seen them, you know. And it was like, why should I go out of my way to keep trying to invest myself into people's lives who don't want me there? And I finally just said, fuck it. You know, my family is my wife and my daughter. That's my family. And that's where I had to just come to that realization, brokenhearted as it was. That's what I figured out, you know. And I've been there ever since. And I, you know, stupid me, I keep trying to reach out. But you know, at this point, I'm not playing other people's games, so I can't. I won't be accepted 100% because I don't play the games. You know, you get fucked over, and then you just go, "Oh gosh, it's fine. Everything's okay." You know, we're family, so it's okay. You can fuck me over 1,000,000 times. It's okay. We're blood. Yeah. You know, where it's where they're so delusional. Family members are so delusional that they fuck you over, and then they come along later and then just pretend like everything is peachy keen and nothing ever happened, and they expect you to go along with that lie because that's the lie, that's the family way. It's like, no, this boy don't play that anymore. You know, you try to call out a family member on it, and they're like, how dare you speak the truth? How dare you be honest with me? I would never want to have anything to do with you again. You know, it's like, wow, that's family. Wait, you know, you're truthful and honest, and they shun you. What are you gonna do, huh? What are you gonna fucking do? Nothing. Give up. Figure, okay, well, I've got this little family. That's what I got. You know, I can reach out to these people. I can have conversations with these people. I can do things with these people, plan stuff with these people. But when it all comes down to it, this is my family, and these are acquaintances. If they were more than acquaintances, they would go out of their way to be more than acquaintances, right? I can only send so many messages saying, hey, how's it going? Before I just feel like, fuck it, you know? I'm just done trying to be the guy to say hi. You know, it makes me feel like nobody gives a shit, you know, when you're constantly waving, and every once in a while somebody goes, oh, hey. And that's it. And that's all you get. And you know, after weeks and months, you finally get that hour-long conversation on the phone, and it still feels like a, hey, I don't know, hey, what's that, yeah, you know, because that's all there is in like a month or two, you know, and then you go another month or two, and then you get another little, and it's like, that's no way to have a relationship that's supposed to mean something. That's an acquaintanceship. That's it. That's all that is. You know, try to explain that to somebody in my family, and they blew the fuck up. I hate you. Obviously, you don't want to try to get to know me, so obviously, you know, and when I point that out, man, yeah, don't point that out to your family. Hey, you don't really know me. You want to get to know me? No, shut up. I don't like what I see already. Oh. Okay. Right. I mean, I literally just walked away from everything. I did it back in the 80s, did it in the 90s, did it in the 2000s, you know, did it again in the 2010s, you know, and it's the 2020s, and I'm trying real hard to do the exact opposite. I'm trying real hard to pull everybody together. Everybody. Every single fucking person I could get. I'm trying to pull us all together. For what, I don't know. I just know that in my life, it's gone too long without everybody saying hi, getting reacquainted, right? There's been too many years and too many miles and too much bullshit, you know? And if we can just have one more big gathering for the first time, right? Then we should try to do that, you know? One more first time thing. I don't know. It's... And I hope it hasn't been too many years, right? I mean, yeah, there's going to be people there who I haven't seen since the 80s. And then there are going to be people there who I've seen in the last 10 or 15 years that I just don't want to see at all, right? At all. And I don't care if they're there, right? As an adult, I can just decide, whatever, hey, and move on, right? It's not a lot of people in the world that can say that, you know. And there's probably not a lot of people in the group, in the event, people who are coming, who are going to be able to say that. There are people probably who can't say that, and so therefore they won't come. They can't just move on, you know. They can't just come back and accept that things are different, you know. Well, fuck California. Oh, gee. You know, so it's not where you live, and it's not what it used to be. But, come on, fuck California, really? That's rude. That's just stupid. Well, fuck your state, because they got screwed up politics, and I won't ever fucking go there, and fuck you, and fuck their taxes, and fuck their overprices, and fuck their... I mean, come on, dude. Grow up. You know? I mean, how many people are like that? And there's no need for it. All it does is create more division. So you're going to say, fuck that place and fuck... Well, what about all the people who live there and love it there? Because that's where they were born and raised. And every time you say, fuck California, you're really saying, fuck you to me, right? Well, that's not really nice, is it? You know? And so maybe you're in a state that I don't care for much. It's where you live. It is what it is, all right? I mean, I'm not going to come out of hate land and fire my death ray eyeballs at you because you live in a place that I don't care for. It's to each his fucking own, you know? If you don't want to come here, then don't. But don't badmouth the fucking place. If you don't want to come to the reunion, then don't. But don't talk shit about it, right? Don't talk shit about people who decide to come. You know, and don't stand up there and say, well, we have a reunion every year and it's way better than yours. Shit, go fuck yourself, you know? I mean, if that's the way you gotta be, then yeah, just go fuck yourself. You know? I mean, great, you have a reunion every year. You know, you and your half dozen buddies get together in a park and drink a 12-pack of beer and fight about shit you've been fighting about for 50 fucking years. Big fucking deal. You know, this is not that. This is for a bunch of people who haven't been home in decades. They haven't seen each other in decades. And they just want to get together and have a good time. That's it. And that's the plan, Stan. Get together and have a good time. Not get together and talk politics. Not get together and talk shop. Not get together and discuss the pros and cons of living in California versus living in... Who gives a fuck? You know? Let's talk about the 80s. You want to talk politics? Let's talk about the Reagan era, you know? Let's talk about Ford, Nixon, Bush, you know, Senior. Let's talk about the past, you know? Don't show up with your present-day bullshit, right? Because I won't have any of that. I won't. I'll turn and walk the fuck away. Because I can do that. I'm an adult. I can just say, oh, nope, I'm not going there with him. You know, show up with political bullshit. And you'll probably be asked to leave. You know, if you show up and you're overly political or overly religical or overly corporate, I mean, you're probably just, people are going to look at you and go, what the hell's wrong with this dickhead? We're supposed to be in the past. Totally. Oh my God. I don't know. Sometimes I get so frustrated with people because they don't use their fucking heads, all right? They think with their phones, basically. It's like people think that the smartphones were invented to take over their capacity for intelligent conjugation, right? That's the way it is. That's the way I see it. You know, oh, I got a phone now. I don't have to think. Hey, phone. What? Oh, okay. You know, everybody's asking their fucking phone. Their phones are constantly telling them what to do, via social media, regular media, idiot media. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Big face, she said she's thirsty. She's a thirsty. And Sam is still passed out here next to me under a blanket on the chair. He's my co-host. Yeah. I remember finding out about politics in the 6th grade government class. We had to do, it was during the 1979 election, 1979-80 election, right? Is that what it was? I don't really fucking remember. So it was the 1980 election where Carter was going up against Reagan. You need more water? She's sucking that bowl dry. You want some more water? She drinks a lot of water, eats a lot of food. She apparently didn't get enough food and water where she was living before. So, the food bowl has to stay full all the time. If it's full, she'll either be eating it or be checking it to make sure that it's full. I have to fill the food bowl. I don't do the whole, oh, a dog is only allowed to eat once a day. Only feed the dog once a day. What, and the rest of the day they're just starving? right? Oh, that's the way the dog is built. No, it's consumers say that's the way dogs are built so that they only have to spend so much money on dog food, right? So you only feed the dog once a day. The dog once a day gets a scoop. How many scoops in a bag? Well, this food's going to last us X amount of days, right? Bullshit. Our food lasts however long it lasts, depending on how the dogs want to eat. The dog food bowl is always filled, all right? The dogs decide when they're hungry. 3 of the dogs eat snack throughout the day. That's it. Twice a day, the dogs will sit at the bowl and eat. And then the rest of the day, they just kind of walk by the bowl and grab a piece of kibble and nibble. And then that's it. Then they go on. Big dog, she eats, she'll down an entire bowl and then ask for more. And then she'll take a couple of bites, and then she'll come back later and she'll finish the bowl off again. And then she'll ask for more. And she'll do this 2 or 3 times a day. As many as 4 times in one day, she'll ask for a bowl of food. And it's just a scoop. Just throw a scoop in the bowl. And I'll take that scoop and divide it between her bowl and the little guy's bowl. So it's not a lot of food. But it's just enough there for them to know they have food in their bowl and they're not going to starve and they're not going to die and they don't have to freak out. If there's not food in her bowl, she gets nervous, she gets worried, she starts looking at the other guys like they're drumsticks, right? So to her, food is a big thing. So I make sure that it's not a big thing for us. Anytime I look at her and she's sitting there looking at me, I go check her food bowl. If it's empty, I put food in it, and I tell her, thank you for telling me she needs food. You know, good girl. Thank you for telling me, good girl. So she'll, you know, she knows that if she wants food, all she has to do is ask for it. If it's not there, all she has to do is come in and ask for it. Go stand at the food bowl or at the food container, the tub of food. She'll go stand there, and she'll get up and she'll kind of click her toes so that you know that she's sitting there. She click, click, and then sit. Click, click, and then sit. So that you know that she's sitting over on that side of the room, and she's either looking at the door to go out, or she's looking at the tub of food. And so all she knows, all she has to do is ask for it. And so there's less worry for her. All she does is sleep and eat. She doesn't have a big life. And if she doesn't have a good place to sleep and food in her bowl, her life is overturned, right? And nothing makes sense. And it feels more like where she used to live, where clean water and food were at a premium because they were out in the sticks and they went to the store, you know, only so often. And then I remember in the last days of the dogs being out there alone, they would just take a bag of food and open it up and let everybody eat out of it. Or take whole chickens and feed the dogs big pieces of whole chicken, which is not too good either. So I totally didn't agree with the way they were raised, and I've totally tried to change the way they are. Tootsie, she's a different dog. She's a complete different dog from the dog that she used to be. If a stranger would walk in and get near her, she'd get up and leave and fast, and she would not allow you to touch her or catch her or hold her or anything. Now, when a stranger shows up, she's the first one in their lap and just throws her head up against their chest and says, "Hi, I'm your best friend now." Same thing with Bessie. She'll come up and she used to just bark and freak out and look like she was going to kill somebody when somebody showed up. And now she'll just come up and put her head in their lap and say hi. And they don't fight, they don't argue. You know, they were really aggressive when they got here, and they're like far from it now. But I had to do that. I had to do something. All right, man. Peace. Later, brother. Have a good night at work. Totally. I'm going to be Minecrafting this evening, about 5 to 6:30. So, yeah. And then, oh, man. Oh, I got so much crazy shit going on. We're going to have to catch up at some point. Totally. But, yeah. Thanks for stopping by, brother. I will talk to you soon. And, yeah, let me know what you plan on doing for your your extra vacation. Like I said, I'm probably not going to have any teeth at that point, so I probably won't be much fun. All right, peace. I got to heat up coffee and get a dog. I thought it was Ollie. Sam. I thought it was, but it's not. I thought there was somebody. But I apparently I was wrong. Oh, you better just go back to sleep, Sam. You better just go back to sleep. Yeah, go back to bed. Go back to bed. Arr. Bessie Wessie. You come on back in here. Come on, Bessie. You don't want to go nowhere. Come on. You need to go outside? You need to go outside? You just going to make me get up again and again? All right. I have to get up 2 more times now at least. You want to go outside? Huh? You want more water? Okay. Drink your water. That dog is impossible. Oh, she's like a sphinx. She'd just sit there looking at me, stone-faced, and I gotta try to guess. Well, let's see. You gotta go out and clean a house, probably change out of my good shirt here, and put on an older shirt. Shirts. I went through all of these shirts. The t-shirts that I had printed. There's about a dozen pair of shirts, one from each design. So I've got them so that I could put them out in pairs. And then when another design comes in, the pairs can then change depending on what I have in stock. I'm hoping that with the shirts that have gone out, the donation forms that I have sent, that in a few weeks I should hopefully, fingers crossed, get back 1 or 2 donation forms, so that and cash, so that I can finish off with these shirts completely, pay them off, and with the next donations that come in, start a new line of shirts, right? So I need to get these shirts paid and printed, and then get the next ones paid and printed fully, and then just keep doing that. Just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. With this donation money that comes in, it's got to go back into having shirts made so I can get the rest of these designs printed, and then throw the next money into t-shirts, blank t-shirts, and getting the next design printed. Cover this little guy up here. There we go. Cover my boy so he can sleep. Yeah. Fun on a bun. Fun on a bun. This is the bag from my the shirt. We got these shirts at the concert, and they put them in these leopard skin bags, right? For Los Tigres del Norte. So tiger skin, leopard skin. I guess it's all the same, right? They probably don't make tiger stripe bags, right? So they had to settle for those. But that was cool. I had to keep my bag. I got to stuff that in my bag of bags. Got a bunch of different bags from a bunch of different places, including Tower Records and all the record stores out here. I might have a Radio Shack bag somewhere. Maybe. Anyways, Totally. Totally. He's a crazy man. Crazy man. Crazy man. Yeah, he's crazy. He's the craziest one, man. Yeah, think about it now, forget about it later. Big dog making her bed. So let's see, let's take a look at the old calendar-rino here. And Thanksgiving is on what day? Get back to the front here and check out my Thanksgiving. 28th. Last Thursday of the month. Thanksgiving. Write it there. So, I've got to create a video time machine for Friday, the 15th, the 22nd, and then a special Thanksgiving Day video time machine. Instead of Friday, it'll be preempted to the Thanksgiving Thursday, right? Yeah. And I think it's going to be like that, so that the show will normally be on Fridays. Unless there's a holiday that week, then it'll be on that holiday. And it'll be the holiday edition. And then I'll try to make it as much about that particular day as possible. Because that's just fun. That's just fun stuff right here. But the fact that I have two video time machines in between now and Thanksgiving video time machine, so I have to keep it somewhat fresh, and try not to use any of my Native American Thanksgiving elements until that week, and then only use the shorter stuff for the video time machine portion of that. So it's kind of a hard set of balls to juggle, because at this point I've got a lot of stuff collected for Thanksgiving, and it's hard not to use some of that during the weeks before that. So yeah. Like Rose Parade stuff. I want to do some Rose Parade, Tournament of Roses, because they're, the 80s, we had some great parades back in the 80s, and our hometown, Lake Elsinore, I believe we went to the Rose Parade a few times. Our meager little school band, marching band, right? It still is like one of those honors for your high school to have their marching band in the Tournament of Roses parade. So I'm going to try to dig up something like that when I'm looking for Tournament of Roses parades. I'm going to be looking for a whole lot of footage to try to find one that's got Lake Elsinore High School marching band in it. Because, yeah, I know we were there. And it would have to have been in the 80s. So, totally. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, no way. But, let's see. So, after work, I guess I'll be driving into 29 over to the Res to get some dubage from the old reservation dispensary. Yeah. They've been operating for a few months, and they've probably cleared millions of dollars already. There are a lot of pot smokers out here in the high desert. That's why they call it the high desert. That's a lame joke. So it's nice to be able to get it without having to drive all the way down into the low desert, or having to wait for it to be delivered all the way up here into the high desert from the low desert, and kind of getting what you get, right? If you can't go into a storefront and pick out something, then you're kind of just, you feel like you're just getting what you get, right? And it doesn't always feel good. You don't always feel vindicated in your choice of marijuana or the prices or the quantities and stuff. But when you get to go into an actual place, brick and mortar, and hand select something, it's way better than sight unseen, right? Totally. And you feel connected to the people, the shop. I go to this place once a fucking week, right? I mean, I walk in and they're like, "Hey, dude, what's up, man? Just checking out your channel, man. Wicked stuff. You crazy, dude." Yep, that's me, crazy dude. What is it? We're just about, oh, look, halfway through the show. And I'm already just fried. She's fried. Now remember, if I ever have to halt the show for some reason, like normally I would be listening to my daughter's alarm going off, and she'd be getting up to get ready to go to the university today. But, hello, it's Veterans Day, so she's got the day off from school. So she's probably going to get up and spend the day doing homework. I know she's probably going to get caught up. We went to the concert the other night. She hasn't been feeling well the last few days. So, and she had to go out to a friend's birthday party, and she wasn't feeling well. So, at this point, I'm hoping that last night she had a good night, mac on a little bit of gummy, and play some video games and vegetate all night. So she might have gotten some work done at some point, but more than likely not. I told her, like, if you're going to eat one of those gummies, do it on when you don't have to do anything, right? You don't want to do it when you got to do homework or something like that, or go somewhere important. I said that's for, recreation, home use, for pain, whatever it is you're going to use it for, but do it at home, and don't, definitely don't have to be doing any seriously thinking. So she planned her night out so that she didn't have to think. Smart kid, and I never want her to smoke the stuff, but if she's going to do it, do the edible stuff, don't punish your body, and she's not she's not like me, I guess, For her, it's just one of those things that she does, like, maybe once a month. Hint, hint, when she's in pain. Hint, hint. And that's it. That's why she's, why she's got them. And taking way less than the normal dose, too. Us lightweights. So it's cool. I like it. I like it a lot, considering, at her age, what a lot of people her age are into, right? Yeah, so that always worried me as she got older, how that was going to pan out. I never had to worry about it, it turns out. She's always been more into school and music and games and friends and stuff, important friends who aren't really weird. In fact, I think she's actually gone through several friends so that she could kind of remain true to herself, which is pretty cool. You know, it's unfortunate that sometimes you gotta distance yourself from somebody you used to be really close with, just to kind of for self-preservation, right? And she's okay with doing that, you know. It was always hard for me because I never had friends, so it was always hard for me to lose a friend, no matter how bad an influence that friend might be. It was always difficult until you found out that, they're a really bad influence, and not only are they bad to others, but they'll fuck you over too. Yeah. But yeah, on occasion I will turn the mic off, throw something on to listen to, or point the camera in a different direction. Yeah. Okay. So, all of the live shows are slowly kind of taking a break. Right now, we are without the Friday live show, the Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia. I decided to cancel that one early, put us on hiatus for the winter. I will be back with that show in the spring. Hopefully it will be a better show. And then I think the Video Time Machine will stay its own show. And at some point during the Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia show, we may use that once again to create a spin-off, right? Because Video Time Machine is a spin-off of Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia, and we might do another Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia spin-off. I'm not sure what that's going to be. At some point, I really wanted to do a live Brothers and Sisters show, but not having any teeth kind of took the bite out of that. So if I do that, it's going to be a different show, and it'll be without me. So we'll see. That whole thing is up in the air, and I haven't started on even thinking about it, because it's kind of hinged on whether or not we've got shirts. And now that we're starting to get shirts, I think it'll be kind of an easier sell to do a show like that, where it's okay, you're going to wear this shirt on this episode, and let's get you to wear this other shirt on this episode, right? And let's get at least one person to do a, hey, this is so and so. I hope I'm going to the reunion. I hope you're going too. If you want to help, check out these shirts. Contact us directly. Yada yada yada. That kind of a thing. If you'd like to help and you'd like to receive a free shirt for doing so, bada bing bang boom. And that's the way it's going to be. Fun on a bun. It's like I put all of myself into shirt stuff like once a week, and then I have to sit back and then just kind of wring my knuckles and wait to see what happens, right? Are we going to get shirts? Am I going to have to do something with the design again? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Now I'm just waiting for people to get shirts. People should start receiving shirts as early as today or tomorrow. Okay? There's 3 people in Southern California who I sent shirts to. And they just want regular ground mail, right? So it's literally an hour drive from here. So I'm hoping that having shipped Friday, people will be getting their stuff in their mailboxes by today or tomorrow. And I can't wait to start seeing photos of people wearing their shirts. Because as soon as people start posting photos of their shirts and saying, contact me to make a donation, right? We're going to have people who are going to want 2 free shirts going after as many donations as they can so that they can earn themselves free shirts. That's the way I've got it set up, right? You go out, you get 10 donations, and I'll give you 2 free shirts for doing that. So the next 2 designs are on me, right? That's how we're going to do this. So that at some point, when shirt production costs balance out so that we're spending less on shirts than we're profiting, right? Then it's going to balance out. Right now, the whole shirt, getting them produced in small little batches, ordering the shirts special color, all of that, using 2 inks on one. I mean, the price of the shirts, production-wise, is pretty high. So at some point, we're going to start bringing that way down. We're going to keep the shirt quality way up, but we're going to bring those prices way down so that the donation amount is the same. You still get 2 shirts, but we're making more off of those 2 shirt donation deals, right? But at this point, I can't wait to see how many donations we get in now that we actually have shirts. Because I've got a dozen shirts that I can send out right now. The first, and then it has to depend on how many designs I have and how many sizes I have in those designs. So money is going to come in with donation requests for sizes, and I'm literally going to have to take that money and funnel it back into shirt production to create those sizes special order, right? So that we have the sizes to send out. Because I only got large through XXX printed this time. I still need to print small and medium. Didn't print those because we didn't have any orders for those. So it's going to be producing stuff as we need it. This next batch. And then what I would like to do is kind of get as many donations in as possible before we say, okay, let's order the rest of the shirts and get the rest of them printed, or we can only do another 35 or something. I would prefer to just get all of the donation money in and then take that and say, okay, let's do the rest of the shirts now in those 2 designs. And then pay for all of those 200 shirts. 200 plus because of the samples and the little bit extra. Balance. It just needs balance at this point. And I may actually borrow money to get the next shirts for the next design. And if I can get them at a good price, I'm going to buy the next 200 shirts outright, blank. and then I'll just have to have them printed. I'll have the screens to be made, and the setups, and all of the processes into that fee, but it's just going to be for that, for just the printing. And on some occasions they will provide the shirts for me. On other occasions I will provide the shirts. On some occasions somebody will send me shirts and I will have them printed. You know, send me 20 shirts and I'll have them printed and send you back one of each design, 10 shirts of each, right? And I'll send you back one of each, and then we'll use the rest for donations, right? We can do that too. And then you get actually to be part of the production. You get to choose a color that you want a special 10 of each made of, right? And then you get to wear one of those. So it's going to be a family production thing. So I'm going to start posting more and more information about shirt production, how people can help with shirt production, how they can be involved with choosing what we're producing and how we're producing it, colors and whatnot. You know, I think if somebody says, "Ooh, I like that shirt, can I get it in this color?" You know, and I'll say, "Yeah, you want to buy 10 shirts in that color, and I'll have them printed and send you one." And then that's your donation, right? The 9 shirts that we're going to use to bring in 9 donations, and you get one of the shirts. That's a hell of a donation right there, right? 10 shirts and you get a free shirt, and you've helped out not just with a 9 shirt donation, but all of the donation money that 9 shirts is going to bring in, right? 9 times 25. They're going to be, the donations are going to come in like $50. So the t-shirts will go, so I want the t-shirts to go out in pairs so that you can choose what pair of shirts you want, but you get 2 shirts for the $50 donation. That, I think, seems very, very fair. Plus shipping and handling. So you're donating $50, and then if you want shirts in return for your $50 donation, all you got to do is pay shipping and handling. That's as fair as I can make it, right? All these last shirts that we did donations, all of that shipping had to come out of pocket. It had to come out of donation money, which brought the donations from everything that's gone on so far just to starting the production. Starting production and starting to figure out shipping and all of this. Now I've got shipping figured out. Now I've got production figured out. So now I'm working on getting production costs down to a bare minimum, right? I'm going to be shipping out mostly flat rate envelopes because that's the cheapest way to go. On occasion I will ship locally to in a regular envelope because it'll be a few dollars cheaper to ship regular mail, ground. Some of those flat rate envelope ones are going to get there quicker than some of these ground ones. But I think once it leaves the state, goes like so many miles away from here, it's better just to use the flat rate, period. I feel like I got a bite or something right here, but you can't tell in this camera lighting with all my bags and sags and crags. Yep, you just can't tell. So Veterans Day, of course, holiday. So the checkouts are all today rather than yesterday. People can stay around an extra day, so they did. So I think it's three or four houses today. It'd be great if it was 4. We can do 2 together and then split off, and then I can go start one and she can go do one, and then kind of get together and finish off the last one. By the 3rd house for me, I'm pretty slow going, and usually we'll have to stop after the 2nd house and have lunch and then get into the 3rd house. So usually it gives her time to go do a small house real quick by herself. And then on occasion we will just put one off until tomorrow if the houses are too filthy and it's going to take too long, and we'll just put it off. But I think it's only 3 houses today. And I think it's 3 houses that we do 2 together, and then she does one by herself, because it's just a little one. And we're going to be in 2 vehicles today, and we ain't driving mine all the way up there. So, yeah. I've got a little bit of moving of stuff to do in my van, so I'm going to be putting a few more things in my van before I go. And then probably be bringing something back. A box spring. I've got to bring a box spring back to go with this mattress so that we can take it to our neighbor, because he needs a new bed. Boy, does he need a new bed. My wife's like, he's in a divot, he's in a hole. And I'm like, well, shit, that's no good. I didn't know that. We've had these beds for years. If I'd have known that, we'd have done something. So we're going to do something. So today's the day, because today is where we've got to go to the house where the bed is, and my van is up and running, so I can actually use it to bring the bed back, which is totally cool. Yeah. Anyways, Holmes, I can't wait. I can't wait to start seeing pictures of people in t-shirts that I designed. I did a vintage, a retro vintage shirt. So, paying homage to something from the past. And then I did a vintage reproduction of an actual shirt. And somebody posted a photo of it, and I saved the photo. And then, that was years ago. And then I just recently thought, oh, let's reproduce that shirt. So I completely recreated the graphic, pixel by fucking pixel. And that's a beautiful shirt there. I love that one. So I think people will see that I've created a couple of beautiful t-shirts and really be like, yeah, baby. Where's the next ones? I can't wait for the next ones. And hopefully that will spur a lot of people to donate. It's like, yeah, I want those shirts. Hell yeah. Where do I get those shirts? And people will be able to gather donations themselves, right? And I'm going to get help from a few people to vet those out there who we think are going to be able to collect donations for us. Because you don't want people out there in your name collecting money for something that the people may not get, right? What happened to my money? Oh, I had to spend it on rent. Well, where's my fucking shirts? Hey, where's my shirts? Well, I don't know. I never got the donations. And then that just opens up a whole bunch of bullshit. So I'm just going to do it with responsible people. Mainly the people who I've already sent shirts to. You know, we're looking at like 8 people who I sent shirts to who are responsible enough to gather donations, right? If those 8 people gather 10 donations each, that's 80 donations, right? That right there is enough to do 2 more shirt runs. And what I'd like to do is do 2 more shirt designs in 1 and then 2 colors choices, and then do another color choice for each of the current shirts, right? so that people can think, all right, now we're getting into it. Now we can get some action going on here, some choices. That'd be cool. Oh, so tomorrow I'll wear one of my other new shirts. I think I'll wear the brown one. That's great. That's the one that people should be getting in the mail really soon. If you've been watching the morning show, you've been tuned into what the shirts look like. I have been really secretive on Facebook about what the shirts look like. I haven't posted any photos of what the shirts look like. I have sent a couple of photos to people, to like 20 people who I have asked for donations. But other than that, I haven't been public with the photos until today or tomorrow. And then people are going to start posting photos everywhere wearing their shirts. And I'm hoping they say contact me directly for a donation information. You know, contacting them directly or contacting me directly. I hope others take in and become a part of the gathering of donations, because it's going to take a whole bunch of pressure off me to have this stuff go through my bank, right? I'm ill. I can't deal with that kind of stuff. I'm going to need my insurance, and I can't have my insurance canceled if I got all this money going through my bank and they think that I'm a millionaire. This guy makes a lot of money, you know, because I don't. But if I get a bunch of donations coming through my bank account, it's going to appear as though I make a lot of money selling T-shirts. So it's got to come in cash, check, or money order, right, from other people who have been gathering money via Venmo or Zelle or however people want to do this stuff nowadays, but then just go to the post office, get a money order, stick it in an envelope with the shirt sizes requested, and send it to me, right? The whole order form thing, you know, it would be best if I just get one chunk of money, whether it be cash or a check or one money order. A postal money order is probably the best way to go. I believe I can actually cash that at a post office. And that's cool. That's way cool. I can just go to my bank and cash it, and it's not a bank transaction, it's just me cashing a check, so it doesn't actually, I don't think it goes through counts on my income, because it ain't income. I could even tell the people donating, okay, look, make the check out to the T-shirt place, right? If it's X amount of dollars, fine. Make all of that out to the T-shirt place. Okay, make that out to me. If I get any money coming into the bank directly via Zelle or something, it's probably going to be used to pay for blank T-shirts, because I'll have to order those through Amazon, right? And actually, there was a pack of 8 shirts, I think, or 6 shirts or something. It was a pack of shirts that I got from Walmart, and they were different colors, but it was like really cheap, right? It was like $21 or something for the 6-pack, which means that each shirt was only a few bucks each, right? So I'm going to be looking for something like that, as opposed to the $8 to $12 per shirt kind of range where we're at now. I'm going to look at more like $3 to $5 per shirt and get a really good shirt for that price. And get them in bulk, you know. We like this color. We're going to use this color for this shirt, and then we're going to use it later for that shirt. Let's go ahead and buy 200 now, varying sizes. So with money coming in, that's going to dictate production speed. And what I'll do is I'll fulfill the orders that come in the sizes required, and wait until I get as many donation order forms in as possible before ordering all of the shirts required to fulfill those donations, right? And then hopefully double that in production and possibly more varying sizes, and try to finish off the printing with this first finish off the printing and get the next shirts printed with this one shirt run of 2 shirts. You know, it's 100 shirts each of 2 different designs, and if I can use the donations from that to pay for all of the 200 shirts and print another 200 shirts plus another color in this shirt design, then that'll be 400 more shirts ready for donations. And then just kind of keep it growing itself until production reached such a heavy load that it's putting out more donation savings than spendings, right? And that's the best I can come up with, now, having never done this before, you know, is just to try to snowball it, just try to make it grow itself. And then at the end of half of the shirt production, halfway through this shirt production, we will start to see a huge profit in donations. And shirts will pretty much be paying for themselves really easily. And as long as I can give something for a donation, I think that's where we're going to find most of our money for this, right? Some people are donating more than the average donation, and those people, at some point, they're just going to be asked, okay, look, your donations were higher. You know, you did a double donation, basically. So you were sent your 2 T-shirts for your 1 donation, but you still have another 2 T-shirts coming to you. How do you want those? Plus, you get a free T-shirt because you donated early. You were on the early bird stuff. So I got a 1 page of donors who have earned themselves extra T-shirts, and some of those have earned double T-shirts. So later on, they'll be getting more shirts in the mail. Look, here's 2 more shirts. Look, here's your 2 free shirts. I mean, it's like crazy. So, yeah. Some people donated for others, right, in others' names. That's cool. It'd be neat if people could, if they're going to donate twice as much, donate for yourself, the single donation, but then donate in the name of somebody who's not around anymore. That would be cool. I'm donating this for, for Brett. That would be awesome, for my brother who's not around anymore, my sister who passed away way back when, whatever. I think donating for somebody who's not around would show a lot of class, right? I'm going to heat up my coffee. Don't go away. Yep, I think, no wedgie. I think that would be cool. Have people donating in the name of people who aren't around anymore. Yeah, makes my hair stand up. Boy, my stomach is a grumbling. It's going to want some big breakfast today because we got to go out. Got to go out. I don't know what we're going to do for breakfast. Taters and pancakes. I don't know. I hate to do cereal because it involves milk, and I can't do milk in the morning. I can do it in the evening, but I can't do it in the middle of the day. Boy. Oh, we made that last night. The night before last, we made, my daughter went out to her friend's birthday party at her house. So my wife and I went to Walmart, and we're looking for something to make for dinner. And we look up and we see that box of banquet biscuits, chicken and biscuits, right? And it's like this, we look at the package, it looks really good. It's got like this biscuits and then stuff under it, you know. And so we look at it, and the package is, it contains biscuit mix and chicken stew. And I'm looking, thinking chicken stew. So it's like chicken and gravy and vegetables, right? And I look and I think, oh, we can make this. We got all of this stuff at home. All we need to do is pick up a little bit of this, and we can make this at home. So we did. We had Bisquick at home. We had vegetables at home. We had the gravy at home. The only thing we didn't have was thawed out chicken. So we picked up some chicken. So we brought the chicken home. We threw some chicken in the oven, let it roast. And then when it was done roasting, we put it all together and stuck it in the other oven and let it bake with the biscuits on top. So essentially we made our own beef stew, or chicken stew, and then made our own chicken stew and biscuits in there. And my daughter's like, the next night she's eating, she's like, why didn't you guys just make a pot pie? Because this was supposed to be easier. And the chicken was a little chewy. I don't know why, because it baked and then went into the gravy or something. I don't know. So it got chewy. So I think we're going to do something different there. Cook it different. I don't know. Cook it together in the gravy first and then add the vegetables. I just don't know. Boil it and then add it. Yeah. But it was good. It was really, really good. The biscuits were good. It was, the next night we just took the casserole dish with half left in it and the glass top and stuck it in the oven and heated it up for an hour, and it came out piping hot and crispy, and it was really, really good. Again, a second night. And I actually prefer it over the pot pie because the pot pie's got a thin crust on the bottom and the top, whereas the biscuits only have it on the top, but they're really thick pile of biscuits. And I like thick, biscuits over pie crust. Hi, Bessie. What are you doing now? You gonna make me get up again? I don't want to get up. Go lay down. Go to bed. Go lay down. Come on. Come on, Bessie. Don't make me get up. Come on, Bessie. Come on. Come on, Bessie. Come on. Oh, she's gonna go stare at the door. All right, I'm gonna go take a leak too. Why not, right? Back in a flash. I'm back. Probably not for long. Figuring I'm going to have to get up and close a door, open a door, let a dog in, let a dog out, something like that. But I'm here. Well. That's it. That's all there is to it. Thanksgiving is coming. And I'm thankful to be alive so far. I mean, I don't ever expect to make it to tomorrow. So when I'm in today, I'm like, wow, this is pretty awesome. This is cool stuff, man. I'm here. I'm still here. I try not to plan too intensely for the future. Of course, this reunion is pretty fucking intense. The rest of my life, I have no idea. There's like absolutely nothing planned past the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, past my daughter's next concert that I may or may not go to, or I may or may not drive her to, something like that, right? The holidays, you know, I'm looking forward to the holidays, but I don't really plan past the near future, because I'm surprised every morning when I wake up. So the near future is about as far as I can deal with. The reunion, it's a bit different. I'm hoping I make it there. I'm hoping I can plan it enough and pull it off enough that if it needs to be passed off to somebody else, it can be. You know? And all that entails, right? So we'll see. I'm hoping that at some point this will be its own machine, that all of the pieces will be kind of spread out between various people. So anybody can kind of pick up the controls and go with it, right? Okay, I'm still on dog detail here. Big dog is in. Tootsie is out of Natalie's room, and Sam is in Natalie's room, and he's in bed with her now. Tootsie went outside to go pee-pee. When she comes back in, she'll probably more than likely want to get back in bed with her. And then at some point, Ollie's going to get up. He'll usually be the last. He'll usually stay in bed until Mom gets up. And then he'll come out stretching and yawning, you know, a little while later. And then go right back into bed with Natalie, where most of them stay the day until she gets up. Yep. Hi. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to Thanksgiving this year, because more than likely I won't have teeth and I won't have dentures either. So, yeah. My appointment, I keep pushing my appointment because I'm uncertain of the status of my health insurance, and I don't want to get started on this and not have health insurance. So if I'm not eligible right now for what I have, then I have to change insurance plans to something that I am eligible for. Income in the family has changed. My daughter brings in money now from financial aid, which counts as household income. And because she's now an adult, she's a dependent in the household, but she's an adult dependent. She's only eligible for the stuff that she's eligible now for another year until she becomes 21, and then everything changes again. But her income counts, which means that our whole family dynamic has kind of changed a little bit financially. Trying to keep things low so that it's easy for her to go to school and get the help that she needs, and to get the health insurance and the help that I need, and and glasses and teeth and all this other stuff that the family needs. That's a lot to deal with. They put a big burden on you, the U.S. government, when they require you by law to buy something. They throw a whole huge burden on you. So if they're going to throw that burden on me, then I'm going to make them pay for it by keeping my income low. And that's where we're at now. And when that changes, then my whole life changes. When I have to then put in money to stuff that, I would normally just pay cash for, and now I have to buy something annually, monthly. What is up, dog? You want to go back to bed? You don't know? Want to go back to bed? I got to deal with the dog. Back in a flash. Well, as soon as I have a free day this week, I think I'm going to have to just invest some time and a little bitty bit of money and create some doggy doors for the interior of my house so that I don't have to deal with this any longer. Everybody likes their door closed when they're sleeping, and I can totally understand that. The dogs, they have to go in and out and change rooms and stuff, and I totally get that. What I don't like is having to get up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down all morning, every morning, until somebody else wakes up and then can be responsible. Like, I ain't getting up anymore. I've been doing this 4 hours. Somebody else do it. And I hate that, you know. So I'm just going to create it so the dogs I can get up in the morning, I can bring Big Dog out here with me and open up her doggy door so she can take herself outside. Problem solved. Put little doggy doors on the bedroom doors. Now the dogs can change rooms and come in and out into here and outside however they wish, right? Frame in nice little portholes for them to crawl through and double side them with yoga mat, hanging yoga mat for sound and light. And that's it. Because they're interior, so they don't have to be like weatherproof and all that shit. They just have to look nice and be functional. And the one in my daughter's room, I definitely need to have thick flaps so that when the doggies go through, that's cool and all, but when they're not going through, that flap hanging there is a sound barrier. And most of her sounds are happening up here, so nothing's really going on down here, right? So that's cool. And these walls are paper frickin' thin anyway, so it's not like it's going to be much different. But that will help me out so much. I mean, I literally get up in the middle of the night with the dog scratching on the door because he wants to go to another bedroom or he wants a drink of water. I mean, come on. As soon as they know they can do that themselves,